the next White House press secretary, spokesperson for the Trump-Vance transition, Karoline Leavitt. Did I read you're going to be the youngest person to ever hold that position?
That is correct, Sean, yes.
All right. Congratulations. Number one, you do know that you're walking into hostile territory, right?
Certainly do. And look, I think I'm well prepared for that. And I'm incredibly honored that President Trump has instilled confidence in me to speak on his behalf behind the White House podium. It's been an honor to have a front row seat to the greatest political comeback in history. And as you mentioned in your monologue, Sean, President Trump is putting together a brilliant cabinet of fantastic America First fighters, from Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, who are going to cut the waste out of our federal bureaucracy, to Susie Wiles, who is going to serve as the first female chief of staff in history. Take that. Mark Cuban, to Tom Homan. No one better to secure the border than him. And I'm so excited to speak on behalf of a president who just received a resounding mandate from the American people to deliver on the promises that he made on the campaign trail. We have the House, we have the Senate. President Trump is going to get to work on day one to implement real change that will deliver real relief and support to the American people who are struggling right now under the Harris-Biden administration.
With the death of legacy media, and I define that by three major networks, every major newspaper, New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, USA Today, all against the president, NBC, ABC, CBS, all these liberal cable channels, every late night comedy show, with the exception of Greg Gutfeld, the only one that is funny and has ratings. And I put it all together, and I thought that Ari Fleischer, former White House press secretary himself, had a great idea. Why don't you push the old legacy media that nobody is really listening to anyway, and why don't you put new media in the front of the room? Now, you have the ability to make seating arrangements, don't you?
Mm-hmm. We sure do. And I will say there's no greater advocate for a free and fair press than Donald Trump. During his first term as a president, he was the most transparent president in American history. That continued on the campaign trail, despite the fact that he has exposed the media for being incredibly hostile and fake. They have pushed lies and hoaxes about him for 8 years. They consistently take his words out of context. This election taught us a lot of things, but one of those things is that the American people are no longer buying the lies from the legacy media, and Americans are digesting their news in various different forms. We saw President Trump own that lane on the campaign trail, sitting down with the #1 podcast in this world and ratings bonanza every time he did it. That's how Americans are consuming their news these days. So we will certainly look at options on how to respect the tradition of the White House while also ensuring that press briefing room reflects the media habits of the American people today. And just like we did on the campaign trail, President Trump is serving the American people, and we want to make sure we are getting his message out as effectively as possible to the American people he is serving.
Under Trump's first term, the role of press secretary, I think, changed somewhat dramatically, in as much as nobody speaks to the press about Donald Trump better than Donald Trump. So it's a tough position that you're being put in.
That's right.
Have you given thought as to whether or not there'll be daily White House briefings or occasional White House briefings, or on an as-needed basis? Have you thought about that at all?
Mm-hmm. That's certainly something I'll discuss with President Trump. Ultimately, he is the decision maker. As you know, that was the way in his first White House. It was the way on our campaign, and I will defer to him. But like I said as well, in his first term, he was the most transparent president in history. He often brought the press into the Oval Office when he was signing bills. He did Rose Garden press conferences. In fact, during the COVID pandemic, President Trump briefed the press in the James S. Brady briefing room 72 days in a row. I know a lot of the fake news reporters will tell you behind the scenes, Sean, they missed that transparency and that access to the leader of the free world. And I know President Trump will provide that to them again.
Okay, so are there going to be rules in your press when you deal with the press? In other words, you're dealing with somebody that's rude, that's interruptive, that wants to ask 5 questions, not 1 question. Are you going to set up rules?
Well, we hope there will be decorum, certainly, and we will try to instill that. But we're not shy of the hostile media. We've dealt with that now in the campaign for the last year. Nobody does it better than President Trump. And again, it's our goal to get our message, his America First message, and the historic policies that he will be delivering upon in the most effective way to the American people. That may include bringing different voices into the press briefing room. That may include some different rules. We are looking at those options, and ultimately it's about serving the American people and getting President Trump's message across to them.
I would offer this unsolicited advice. You might want to say, we're not prepared to go there today, but I will get back to you. And feel free to use that line as often as you want if they're pushing hard on a topic that you're not ready to talk about. Karoline, congratulations. You're making history, and I'm sure it's going to be a great ride for you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.